Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest, episode number 40, the extra juicy, extra packed Monday edition.
40.
We got 8-bit Briar on the screen as well for those watching the live screen.
I'm really taking this retro thing seriously.
I love it. I love it.
You were just playing Super Bernie World, weren't you?
That's right. You know what was funny is that the Koopa Super Bernie World you just told me about 5 minutes ago, so I immediately downloaded it on Steam. It's free, and the Koopas are just like little dudes with Bernie hats on, or not Bernie hats, with MAGA hats on.
Amazing! Oh my gosh,
it's really funny. It's really well done.
That is hilarious.
Impressed with it. I only played like 2 minutes of it.
Absolutely hilarious. Well, how are you guys doing?
I actually am not in good shape.
Oh, sorry to hear this, Briar.
Yeah. I think I might need a financial intervention.
You need a loan?
Oh. This may be the most expensive gaming year of my entire life.
Yikes.
So I just want to let you know what I've done so far.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you what I expect to do continuing throughout the year. In the last month, I have purchased a Mister, which is the FPGA box that I talked about a couple episodes ago. And that was about $650 said and done. Right?
Bargain.
And then Analog.
Bargain price emulation.
Analog came out with a new run of the Mini NT or NT Mini Noir Edition, which is it's an FPGA NES, right? Limited run. It's already sold out, but I got one.
No.
For the low price of $500.
Oh, bargain.
Bargain again. That's double bargain.
Look at that. Look at that.
Also, I happen to know that my wife for my birthday got me a Mega SG, also from Analog, which is a Genesis. Like the same kind of thing, but a Genesis. These things play like real cartridges. So
yeah, you actually put the cartridge in, and it's like the console experience.
Yeah. And that was like $200.
I mean,
going forward, here's what we expect. There's going to be new graphics cards from NVIDIA.
3080 Ti.
Yeah. There's going to be new processors from Intel.
10,000 series, right?
There's going to be a PlayStation 5. And there's going to be an Xbox One Series X.
Good God. What about Stadia Ultra Edition? You going to get that?
I'm going to pass on that.
And there could be a Nintendo Switch Pro.
Yeah.
There could be. Haven't they come out and said that there won't be, though? Hasn't Nintendo,
I thought so, but it seems like those rumors have been doing the rounds again, so I don't know whether... I mean, I honestly don't think they're going to... I don't think they would, and if they did, I don't think it would be like this soon, because they just released the increased battery power one and the light, so... Yeah. But Nintendo do whatever they want. Nintendo don't follow typical practices. They're just like, hey, I had Cheerios for breakfast. Let's release a new console.
Yes. You know, I would buy it, too, because... Like if I could get better frame rates on my Switch games,
if it made all the games better,
yeah,
right?
Like an upscale thing. Ooh,
just across the board, everything gets a buff to it. That'd be nice.
Even if I could get better frame rates on old games, you know,
true.
Yeah,
I think the cool way to do it would just be like if they just had like a. Because you remember, like back in the N64 days, there was like certain games you needed to have that little expansion pack that you put in the top to be able to like run those games. Like they could basically make a power dock.
That was like the Nomad.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then you just dock it in, and it's like, well, okay, now that I'm only at home, am I going to do that? But it's like, that's fine, because when you're on the go, you don't really need to worry too much about the crazy graphics anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but if I know I can dock it at home, it's like, whoa, suddenly 4K Breath of the Wild, whoo, I can smell
60 FPS, 4K Breath of the Wild, my God.
Yeah.
I would be happy with 1080p Breath of the Wild at 60 FPS. Solid.
True.
No dip. No dip whatsoever. Yeah.
But see, if they're going to bring out another Switch, right? This is the thing. They need to get a better infrastructure for passing between like save files, right? Because generally speaking, this is fine. Like I have my Switch Lite, and I'm gonna divert marginally to my Animal Crossing dilemma, guys, because this is important thing. So like I've said before, I love my Nintendo Switch Lite. Like I know it might not be everyone's thing, but like I just really like it, and it's fast become my main system. If ever I'm playing games, I just play on my Lite. I just like it. It's got the grip. It's got the perfect combination. Super comfortable, and I like it. And for the most part, you can
Bernie World up.
Can you get Super Bernie World on there?
Sadly not. Sadly not. But here's my problem. Most games, you can just upload your save data to the cloud, download it on the other system. Bosh, you're done. Animal Crossing will not allow this.
Why not?
Right. Well, see, because Animal Crossing is a very competitive game. They don't want people to cheat, you see. But
you can't cheat on your taxes in Animal Crossing.
Exactly. But here's the crazy thing, right? I think it's because like in Animal Crossing, so much stuff is to do with like time, so people think they're going to do some madness. But the crazy thing is, they said like it exists because there's a cloud that exists because Nintendo said if your Switch breaks or for some reason you have to send it in for repair, they will transfer your save for you. So it exists, but they won't let you do it yourself. They have since.
It's at a Nintendo level.
It is. They have.
Yeah, they're doing this intentionally.
Yeah, they have said that they're planning on doing an update now to change that because people have asked for it. So there will be an update that will allow you to move it at some point, but it won't be at launch. So my problem is, I want to make Animal Crossing videos, so by extension, I have to play on the regular Switch. But I know that I want to do Animal Crossing and just chill out on the sofa. And there's nothing wrong with the regular Switch. I love it, but I'm just like my Lite. I want to play it on my Lite. So what do I do?
That's 2 Animal Crossing saves.
Yeah, you're gonna just have to double the Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
you got to live two lives, man.
But then I have to pay 2 loads of taxes. I can't.
Exactly.
I can't do that. That's
actually, I'm not even sure that would work because you probably have the same account on both your Switches, right?
No, I think because on either Switch it wouldn't detect the save file, so it will work technically.
Oh, okay. Because I know that if you have a Switch with 2 accounts on it, you can still only have 1 world and 1 save, right? It's like 2 people on the same Switch have to share a world.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because it's how they set it up so that the family. So like if you have the same Switch and you have like I think up to 8 different people can exist in the same world on Animal Crossing, different accounts and stuff, which is interesting. But in order to combat that, I've basically instead, because I've assumed that I'm going to have to play on the Switch for the foreseeable future, I picked up the Brighter Special, the controller. I haven't. No, it literally arrived like just this morning, so I'm going to open it up later. But I'm looking forward to it. So that's my temporary solution.
Temporary fix for that. Yeah.
I'll be interested to hear what you think next week because I really like that transformed the Switch to me to make it a very comfortable platform to play on. So I'll be wondering if you think as highly of it as I do.
Okay. I will report back.
Yeah.
I forgot to add in the analog pocket. That's another thing I got to buy this year.
2 analog pockets. You gotta buy 2.
You know what's crazy though? Of all those things that you had listed earlier, Briar, like the 3080 Ti is definitely going to be the most expensive, but maybe even crazy expensive. Considering how they do these things, you know?
But well, especially with what's going on in China right now.
Yes, you need it. Eric, you absolutely need
it. Yeah. I can't believe you just asked me that question.
But what will it do, bro?
Do I need it?
Will it allow me to see like even more hair follicles on like the characters in Cyberpunk? Yeah.
Also maintain
it'll
that
do 10% more than the 2080 Ti I currently have.
Oh my.
But yeah, you were saying with the China stuff going on, it's probably going to get a lot of these. I mean, the majority of these electronics are going to get backlogged into huge production problems.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing is that you know, if you want to buy like PC hardware or PC parts, like get it now. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how like if people are just overreacting, but I keep hearing it. And like it's you know. If things keep shutting down the way they are, it could just slow down production, slow down travel time for things to get to where they need to be. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. And there's like a lot of new stuff coming out this year that people are really excited about. PlayStation, Xbox, new graphics cards, new motherboards, new everything. You know,
it's just an insane amount of production for products that we buy is overseas nowadays.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's spread around the world. Obviously, large spots in China, but not just China. I mean, Malaysia and all that. Like, there's lots of parts that have manufacturing.
Right, we know that like Seattle is getting hit real hard right now, so a lot of stuff's getting shut down there.
Oh wow!
How much of that stuff comes in through ports that you know may have a reduced workforce in America?
Right.
You know,
you're not going to be able to get your same day shipping anymore for Amazon.
I don't.
Whoa,
Prime guy, I make him wear a mask when he comes to the door.
What?
Like Amazon 3-day delivery. Be like, what the hell, Amazon?
I've got a vat of Purell at the front door. I just dip everything in before it can come in the house.
That one of those like contamination chambers for people to walk through and like
just sprays pure alcohol on everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, that stuff that's going on. Not speaking of viruses, well, actually kind of speaking of viruses, Division 2.
Oh yes.
There's a new expansion, right?
There is indeed. Warlords of New York.
So I haven't played it yet. I have no experience. I know a lot of people have been saying it's good. Do you have first-hand experience, Eric?
Yeah. So I played through the whole thing. So it's interesting, right? Because the expansion, it does the same thing that Division 2 did at launch, right? It's a good expansion, but it's not exciting. It's just good, right? It's more Division stuff. They've done a lot of like improvements to it. They've done some great stuff. There's they refined the gear system because like Division for the longest time has always had a relatively convoluted gear system. Like in Division 1, it was massively so. Division 2, obviously, they streamlined it a lot, but they've streamlined it even further now. So it's a lot easier to basically just work out if the new piece of gear you've got is better than your last one, without having to kind of circumvent a bajillion different talents. They've cut it down so that like talents on gear, for example, only appears on 3 of the 6 pieces. So there's a few less things for you to have to kind of juggle around. One of the things they actually did that kind of makes skill build slightly more viable. So now when you get gear pieces, they have like these very discernible primary attributes, which is basically attack, armor, or skill.
Okay.
And if you equip like all skill pieces, you basically have different skill tiers, and you get to like skill tier level 6, and then your skills do like a lot more damage. So you can, I mean, they are still being trumped by typical weapon damage builds, which is kind of annoying, but they do at least make skills pretty strong. So they've done that. There's obviously, going back to New York is like returning. It's funny because when they first announced Division 2, it's like, Washington sounds like a more interesting area because obviously there's slightly more diverse environments. You've got some trees there, you've got some kind of underground areas, you've got some city stuff, but there's like a lot of different environments. But then returning to New York, it makes me realize that like for Division, New York just works really well. Like the tight streets, the kind of urban environment and everything. So it was nice to kind of go back, and obviously you're not going back to the same locations as before. There's new areas. The New York map isn't as big, but there's still some cool stuff there. And
I heard it's like a quarter to a third the size of the original New York map.
It's probably about that. Interesting thing, like I was chatting to 269 from like obviously from the Scuf Gaming team, and like he was sort of saying that like when you look at the size of like the New York map, it's almost the size of a map that would work very, very well for something like survival.
Oh,
so you wonder whether like, because everybody asks for this, like every single time. Because the thing is as well, like interest-wise, people have come back to sort of try out Division. People are enjoying it, but it hasn't had the same effect that like say when Survival first came out and everybody flocked back to War.
Survival was amazing.
It was
incredible, right? And I mean, I feel like given the kind of angle for it, given that like you go after like Keener and stuff, but they could very easily just be like, oh, there's someone's deployed like a gas bomb in New York. And then suddenly, that gives you the narrative for the gas cloud shrinking in, because it's definitely that size where like New York is pretty big, but it's not so big where like if you're trekking around, like it definitely feels like the sort of size that will work for something like Survival. So I could see that being something they maybe do kind of further down the line potentially.
One thing that Survival did really great was utilize the gear system to do quick leveling up in the Division. I thought that was really smart. And they also doubled down on the fact that there was a snowstorm going on and made the visibility worse because of the actual storm that was happening. And I thought, and also the temperature system, like there was throughout the game, you don't have to worry about temperature, but then when you get into Survival, suddenly temperature matters and all that. You can freeze. I thought it was just brilliant. It was good. So
there was definitely some like really good concepts in there. But I mean, so like kind of jumping back to like Warlord stuff like this. So they added a few new things in, like the way that the narrative plays out is that you're basically after Keener, obviously from number 1, Aaron Keener, and like he's got 4 like rogue agent henchmen. So you basically go through the map and you can do it in any order. You go down, hunt them down, kill them, and then once you've done that, you go and get Keener. But the cool thing is for every single one of the henchmen you kill, they also give you a new skill. So unlike before, where you just have the skills and you unlock them, you actually get them from these things. So like the sticky bomb is back. There's like a new sticky bomb that fires like burning tar that kind of locks people down. There's like a shock trap you can throw on the floor, and there's also like a hologram thing as well. But the cool thing is the way that it is, at least people that kind of want to do like more stuff, is now working around a position where each week a new series of these targets as kind of contracts come out. So tomorrow is the next set, and then when they drop, there'll be. I mean, I don't know. They haven't made it clear yet whether there'll be a new 5 targets each week, or if it's just one and it kind of gradually works towards 5 new ones. But for every single one of those new ones they're adding, they also come with a new skill. So there's going to be quite a few new skills being added. Yeah, which is really good.
That's cool.
But the big problem is, and I mean, I know there will eventually be a raid, but the big problem is, it's done the same thing where it's like, okay, cool, I completed the campaign, I can grind for all this gear, but why? Why do I want to do it? It still doesn't really have an end game. It's like, okay, cool, I've min-maxed this build. It's easier to min-max now, but it's like, I don't really have a reason to do this. There's no Dark Zone in New York.
And you also mentioned that basically attack is still king for those builds, right?
It seems to be for the weapon stuff. It just seems to be like you just stack all the attack piece gears, and then it's just like still basically. It's always that weird, difficult balancing thing. Like games seem to struggle really, really hard when it comes to sort of trying to balance like guns feeling good or guns being good, and then giving you skills.
Yeah, because that was in Division 2 at launch. It was like people got really disappointed with the fact that if you did go into a healer build, you're like useless in the raid because you just had to have DPS. Yeah, and that's definitely a problem. It's nice that they streamlined those things to make the min-maxing feel a little more not so crazy. Because like I remember in Division 2 going through all the gear, I was like, holy crap, there's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure if I'm deleting something good or not.
Exactly right. Yeah, I mean, streaming like that definitely sort of like made sense. And I mean, the fact as well, like if you do get the expansion, you haven't played for a while, it does even come with like a boost if you want to just jump straight to level 30 and just get back into the action. So you can experience it like straight away, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
And yeah, but I think the weird thing is just like it's just that strange thing. It's just very. I've definitely kind of always described like Division 2 as quite clinical. Like it's functionally good. There are some bugs obviously, but functionally it's good. There's a lot of cool systems in there, but it just doesn't give you that same kind of exciting feeling. Like when I sort of played Division 1 for the first time, I was like, yo, like everything. I was like, kind of really want to sort of be there every single time. Whereas this one is just like, I enjoyed it, but
Is that because it's not technically new anymore? You've seen this style of RPG, MMO type of thing?
I think it might be that. Yeah, I think because I guess kind of at this point in the generation, like because you go way back to when Destiny 1 and Division 1 first came out. Like the looter shooter genre was quite a new. I mean, I know obviously Borderlands been around for a while, but like at its time, the looter shooter genre was really kind of starting to get a name for itself, right?
Yeah, people were looking for they're the Destiny killer, and they're like, Division's gonna be the Destiny killer.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. But whereas like now, it's just like if you still play Division like day in day out and you love that kind of stuff, like Warlords of New York is just more of what you like. So like it's great, right? But I think if you were kind of going, I think where we're getting at kind of in that sort of lifespan now, we've been playing these types of games for quite a long time. I'm definitely more at the position where I'm like, I want to sort of see what someone can do with this genre next. So like for example, why I'm looking towards something like Godfall which putting the melee angle on it, like, that could be really cool. So yeah, it's definitely, and I also think Division is one of those things as well. Like, it's got so many great systems, but like I feel like it would be a more exciting game if it wasn't constrained by the Tom Clancy universe rules. Like,
because obviously I felt that about Division 1 too. It's like this would be better if it didn't have the Tom Clancy name attached to it.
Give me some zombies or alien invasion. Come on,
something a little more. Like, here's another heavily armored dude.
Yeah. Here's another guy hyped off of bath salts who's just like invincible.
Yeah. Do you guys feel any kind of like systems fatigue going on right now? Like, I know when somebody starts talking about like really deep systems in a game, I start to be like, oh, that just sounds like a lot. And do I want to learn like all these systems for another game? Right. It's like, I gotta min-max this. I gotta spend 10 hours grinding for that. And like sometimes I just want to play a game and not have to worry about all these like systems. Like one of the things I like about Doom so much is that you just jump in and you play. Like you don't have to grind for anything. You don't have to worry about like upgrades. You don't have to worry about like, well, what are the rolls on this armor or this gun? I don't know, like it's okay. To me, it's almost like it's okay in a game that I love and want to play 1,000 hours of, but I don't want it in every game because it's just too much. Like it was confounding in Division 2 for me, and it led to me dropping the game. I was just like looking at gear for 5 minutes, being like, "Is this good? Is this bad? Is it worse than what I got? Is it better than what I got?" Like, this is just
see, for me, it's not so much a matter of system fatigue. It's more a matter of designing those systems and having them remain interesting is a very difficult problem for developers, because when it's good, oh my god, it's fantastic. You want to dig in, you want to do builds.
But what makes it good? Does more complexity make it good, or does more simplicity make it good?
It's tough to qualify because that's the design process. Because in the Division, you kind of get stat oversaturated. You're like, oh,
yeah.
And some people like that too. Like that's
definitely,
that's a thing. Destiny has a pretty good balance between feeling like space magic and stats, although it's sometimes more balanced on the side of being space magic, and the stats are kind of not real unless you're doing high level PvP or in game PvE type of stuff. But I think it's just a really difficult problem to crack for a game developer that not many get it, not many figure it out.
And it's like every game is trying to do it too. So it's like every time I think a new game, I've got to like, okay, what's the system I got to learn here?
Yeah, I think that is the one thing. It's like those games are definitely great, but I know exactly what you mean. Like I kind of we're definitely moving to that position now where so many developers feel like they need to release their game and they then need to have a plan for their game to be playable for the next 50 million years. It's like
it's got to be your forever game.
Yeah, I kind of miss being like, you know what? I'm gonna play this game for 40 hours. I'll put it back on the box, put it on the shelf, and be like, let's talk about that game with my friends. About the time we played this really cool game. Like I do love these games. Obviously, I mean, it's part like it's half the games that I cover are these kind of games. But like every time a new one comes out, it's also just like this perpetual juggling act. It's like, all right, how do I keep playing Monster Hunter and to stay on top of all of that whilst also juggling these 15 different loot systems? They've all got raids, by the way, so I need to be raid ready for all these different games. Like, oh my gosh!
See,
that's why like when
Monster Hunter does a good job, by the way, of that systems thing that Brian you're talking about, but it's also a game that has generations behind it at this point.
Yeah, I will say though, I get fatigued with Monster Hunter too. It's like I got back into Monster Hunter when Iceborne came out on PC, and I was loving it, and then it was like, all right, I've got to like find the armor that's going to help me defeat this flying dinosaur, 10 seconds quicker. I was like, this is okay, moving on.
Fair.
You might just be done with that concept in gaming though, because for me, I loved it. I was like, yes,
yeah, it may be because I've been playing that type of game now. Like because I've been playing so much Destiny for the last 5 years. It's like it's just like that perpetual grind may have just worn it out its welcome for me.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's why I was kind of sort of semi kind of excited for like I know not everyone may be like super excited for something like Outriders, right? Because I know that when you kind of like break it down, it's things that we've seen before, and kind of I think we spoke about this before. Like Outriders is it's a fun game to play. It doesn't necessarily bring anything groundbreaking or new to the table. It's just more what you like. But the interesting thing is the way they said that this is like a 40-hour campaign, so it gives you that loot fix that you can enjoy the sort of looter shooter aspect, but that there is a finite end to it. But having said that, even them, they said they'll apply some kind of end game content. So I guess they're still trying to add some sort of thing you can do indefinitely. But they did specifically say it's designed to be like a box product that you can finish. So kind of refreshing.
Yeah. I'm not sold on Outriders.
No.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's not like it's fun to. I think Outriders is definitely one of those games that like you want to try to sort of like, because it's definitely like it doesn't. There's nothing you can really like look at from Outriders and be like, oh, this is a brand new system that no one has ever done. Like it doesn't break any boundaries or like do anything new. But if you like the looter shooter genre, and you play it, it's quite fun. It's fun to play with friends. And I think it's just like if that's a genre you like, you can get that level of enjoyment for a kind of condensed 48-hour window sort of thing.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah,
your face is frozen right now, Eric, and it's like you just saw the 40th drop of the same weapon in one of these looter shooter games.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh! So would you recommend it then? If like I back to Division 2. Sorry. Would you recommend Division 2 expansion if I played all the way up to gear level, World Tier 5, gear level 500? I basically played up until the raid came out. Then I was like, this raid doesn't look good. I'm out.
Yeah.
I mean, got raid ready and then dropped.
Yeah, I was like, shoot a box with like 50,000 bullets. Nah, I'm good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely say like if you enjoy the loop of the division stuff like that, I'd say you could definitely jump in. I'd say it would be one of those kind of things that you would maybe you could probably even just do it along like across like 1 or 2 streams, because once you've done the campaign stuff and you got some of the new skills and you kind of got to the end game, there's not really going to be much to keep you kind of sticking around apart from like maybe the weekly check-in when they add like new targets and stuff.
Okay.
Also the whole kind of concept of like gear score and world tiers has been scrapped as well, so it's kind of just more like a so it's a lot easier to kind of just streamline stuff. So I'd say if you do enjoy Division, you kind of feel like sort of jumping back in. The expansion is quite cool. Like I mean, I don't necessarily follow Division in fact I definitely don't follow Division for the story, but being able to kind of round out the Kina saga, it's definitely, but I would definitely look at it more so as like this is something that I'm going to play for 15-20 hours, complete the thing, and then I'll take a break for a bit, because I don't see anything to kind of keep playing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Zone, right?
True, but there's no the thing is like New York was a new map, but there's no new Dark Zone either. I mean, they did change
Dark Zone, right? Really?
But no. So it's just back to this DC if you want some Dark Zone shenanigans.
Yeah. Fascinating.
There was a narrative for a while that, Division doesn't really compete with Destiny. It's a completely different kind of game, but, they do compete, right? It's like compete for your time.
Yeah.
Like, these games all compete for your time. Borderlands 2.
A lot of the player base intermixes too.
Oh, yeah, totally. Warframe is another one that...
Yeah.
Interesting time to be a gamer.
This week is pretty exciting for another game that's coming out, Neo 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
yes,
Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
That too, actually. I mean, we're kind of have back releases right now, and also if you include Destiny, if you're a Destiny player, big expansion, or not big expansion, sorry, a new season with extra goodies that you're going to be excited about, like Trials. But then Ori, tomorrow starts with that, and then Trials this Friday. So Ori 2, the sequel, which I hear has been phenomenal so far.
It looks great so far. I haven't gotten a chance to play it, but it looks amazing. It looks like it might be too hard though for me.
I love it. I want it.
People are saying it's like it starts off where the last one left off.
Okay.
And that game was hard,
Did you play Cuphead?
Yeah.
Did you beat Cuphead?
Nope. I beat Cuphead, yeah.
Cuphead was awesome.
It took me a long time.
I beat it.
I enjoyed it.
A stream or two. I want Cuphead difficulty. Hell yes. Anyways, Ori 2 coming out tomorrow, which is obviously a good title. Looking forward to. And then Neo 2 this Friday, right?
Yep. And COD Warzone tomorrow.
Oh yeah, COD War. Yeah, what was it? Warzone? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Battle Royale.
Yeah, the free-to-play Battle Royale. Isn't it free to play?
Yeah, they announced it. They announced it today. I haven't actually seen whether it's free to play, but I imagine so. I think it's just an update for COD if you've got it. But it's got like 150 people or something. It's got a couple of different modes, but it's dropping tomorrow.
Do you need to own the regular version, or this is just a separate thing?
I probably should have discovered that before you asked this question. But
I'm gonna COD players,
I'm gonna stall for a little bit while I pretend to find this out in the background.
Chat says you don't have to own Modern Warfare, so
I think it's free to play.
This is a free to play.
Oh,
is it going to like remain active like once the next COD comes out in November?
I think
that's a good question.
Usually CODs remain active post new CODs for at least like 3 years or something like that. Of course, this is free to play. So the question, I think, comes down to if it's popular. Because if it's not popular, then Activision will be like, all right, you're out.
True.
Yeah.
But it does have crossplay, though.
There was cool. Battle Royale in, was it Black Ops 4?
Yeah.
Is that still active? Like, are people still in there playing it?
I don't think they've turned servers off or anything, so I would imagine it still is active. I don't know whether people still actually play it, but I know when it came out, people were kind of saying they quite enjoyed it. But I guess
it was
every
fun,
time you be yeah.
I feel like Apex kind of stole its thunder a little bit.
True.
Yeah. I don't follow any of these games closely, so I'm like, I see like headlines.
No, I'm
about
not really. I'm not really very good at shooters, so I tend not to. Despite the fact that I cover looter shooters, like generally, but if it's competitive, if it's like hyper competitive, I'm just like, I mean, I struggle to shoot what's in front of me, so I'm not really going to be very good at this target. I panic in those games as well. Like I think back to when I used to play like PUBG or Arma, and like someone will be up in a bush, and then I've got friends who are like really good at those games, and they'll be like, oh yeah, he's up there. I'm like, where? And I'm there spinning around in circles, and they're like, I saw the shadow move. I'm like, I can't see a shadow. They're like, he's in the tree. I'm like, there's 50 trees ahead of me. Which tree is he in?
He's in the tree.
Yeah, I'm just like, and then I start to panic, and then obviously everybody dies because I haven't been able to make the one shot that I needed to make the entire game, and then it's all my fault. And then I was like, this is too stressful for me. Too stressful.
Then back to where you drop.
That game is super stressful because the stakes are so damn high that you can play that game for 45 minutes and just like die and never see the guy who shot you. And it's just over.
Yeah,
you're back to the square one. But it's super fun. Like that game was funny because it was like two different games. When you played by yourself, it was like a survival horror game, and it was like like you're sweating it out. But when you played with friends, it was much more jovial and fun.
Nice.
Neo though.
Yeah. So Warzone tomorrow, new Destiny season, and then Neo 2 on Friday. Did you get a chance to play Neo 2 yet? Did you get early access?
Not early access, but I played the betas they've released, and they did like the final beta this weekend. I didn't play it extensively this weekend because I kind of just wanted to sort of jump in and just like fiddle around for a little bit, but not play like too much because I kind of just want to sort of keep it fresh. But yeah, it plays really well. I mean, the last one played really well, so
I really enjoyed the first Neo. Played it all the way through.
Yeah.
I'm bummed though that it's coming out this Friday because Trials is this Friday, and I definitely want to play Trials.
Ooh,
yeah.
So it's in a super awkward spot. Eric's cameras
much like
once again playing shenanigans. So yeah, it's in a super awkward spot for me because once I start a game, I don't want to stop it. If I stop it, then it runs the risk of just never getting done or never finishing. So if I were to like play 2 hours on Friday night, it's going to be cursed. That playthrough will be cursed.
Well, I mean, I guess on the plus side, I mean, Trials is just going to come back every week, right? So, I mean, you don't need to play Trials this Friday. You just wait till the next Friday, right?
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. I think my best chance of getting to that lighthouse is probably this weekend.
When the population's at the highest and hasn't been DDoSed
yet. Exactly.
Hasn't been tarnished with the taste of hacking and exploits.
Right. Come mid-May when there's like 100 people playing it total.
Yeah.
Not gonna be a great time for
every single one is a recov.
Yeah.
So yeah, Neo 2, I am definitely looking forward to because I enjoyed Neo 1, but I don't know when I'm gonna play it. Just like Ori. Like I'd like to play through the Ori series, especially with it being difficult. Like that's my jam.
Yeah. Is Ori coming out for Switch actually?
I think Microsoft.
I'm not sure because the first one's on Switch.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure if the second one is.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Maybe not. Yeah.
Hopefully.
But after, let's see. Let me look at the calendar real quick. I'm pretty sure the following is it Friday? Oh God, it is. The following Friday on the 20th. Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal.
Dude, Doom Eternal is a drop everything game for me.
It is for me too. Doom Eternal is a must play, must rip and tear.
Yeah. The Doom 2016 was probably one of my favorite things to come out in this decade.
Yeah.
Or the previous decade. Like it was just so fun in every way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everything was just phenomenal about it. And this is looking like they've doubled down on it. Eric, did you get to play Doom Eternal?
I did. Yeah. It's actually really good. I mean, it's funny. The thing that kind of interested me because I played Doom before, and I was like, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was cool and everything. but I've never really kind of thought of Doom as something that I care about the story. But then suddenly when I played Doom Eternal, like right from the get-go, I was like, I kind of want to know what's going on in this story because it's already got me kind of hooked.
Yeah, it's great. It's surprisingly great. You're the Doomslayer. You play as the only thing that the demons fear.
Yeah, that was kind of like one of the running jokes in the first one, right? Or the 2016 version was like you kind of get these little lore bits kind of describing your past and what the demons think of you.
Yeah.
They were like terrified of you.
They're like, they're caught in hell on earth. And then you show up and they're like, oh, Dad's home.
Oh, shit. You know, I'm sorry, going back to Neo, I never played the first Neo. Do you think it's worth going back to before I play Neo 2?
Good question. I actually don't know because I know they've advanced some of the systems.
Yeah.
You technically don't need to because this one is a prequel.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So I don't have to worry about story stuff.
No. So this, I don't know whether they. I mean, I would imagine they wouldn't reference it. Yeah, because this is because you can create your own character in this one, so you don't play as William. This is set. I think some like. I'm not sure. Like, but it's set,
you don't play as William the Samurai?
Sadly not. No.
His name was William.
He was called. Isn't
William. No, there's a history thing related to that. Like, right?
Did they call him Bill for short?
Yes, he was called Bill. I think. I'm pretty sure he was called Bill.
They called him Willie the Samurai.
Willie.
But sadly, yeah, I think there was like a lore thing for that. But if you do have an existing Neo 1 save file, you can get a William skin, so you can play as him.
That's funny.
Oh dear. But yes, you have character creation, but this one is a prequel set in the same kind of the Sengoku era still, but prequel. So yeah, you don't technically need to play the original one. This one's obviously got refinements and new systems, so it's probably actually a good place to jump in.
Yeah, I have to point this out real quick. William Adams, known in Japanese as Miria Anjin. I definitely butchered that. Was an English navigator, the 1600, the first Englishman to reach Japan. So I believe he's based on a real character in history.
Yeah.
I
I
might have read. I might have read the wrong person, but I'm from what I remember. Yeah.
The real William.
Yeah, so there's a reason why there's a white guy who's also a samurai in there. Like, what the hell? Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't realize that he was William the Samurai. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, Doom 64 is coming out on the 20th as well, isn't it?
Ooh,
the
yes.
Nintendo 64 re-release.
Yeah,
coming to PC.
That's the real game of the year.
I know that. I hear that. I'm like, why? Why? Like,
yeah.
Maybe they should release it, right, in such a way so that when you're waiting for Doom Eternal to download, you can play Doom 64. Because that will obviously be like 2 megabytes, and then Doom Eternal will be like 200 gigabytes. So you obviously be like, well, let me sit here and play Doom 64.
Well, that game came out on a cartridge.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I wonder, in 2016, there were like bonus levels that were like the original Doom, like with the old graphics. I wonder if they'll do something like that in Eternal.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This is one of these things where I've heard about Doom 64 coming out on that day, and I'm like, I am completely ignoring all that because Doom Eternal's coming out. Yeah. Doom Eternal.
I'm definitely not going to play
Animal Crossing.
Ultra Doom or whatever it's called. Animal Crossing.
When I pause Doom Eternal, I'll go to the bathroom, pull out my Switch, play Animal Crossing. When I've done my business, I go back to playing Doom Eternal.
That sounds like a great plan, a perfect plan.
The Tom Nook stop.
But then when you get into debt, you're gonna have like a long toilet break. We're like, oh, I need to pay this off. I need to make a deposit.
So yes, Animal Crossing is coming out at the same time as Doom Eternal. Eric, what are you playing first on the 20th?
Ooh, it's gotta be Animal Crossing. It's gotta be.
You're not playing Trials? Unbelievable.
Trials? What is this trial? You know, I think I got to the lighthouse once in my entire lifetime, and I was carried the whole way there.
Nice.
it was basically like BR again, where there was one round where I just had to kill one person, and I couldn't even do that. I was like, there's too much pressure. Everyone was dead. I died, but luckily they managed to come back. No, sadly not that. But I don't know. I feel like it's a weird thing to want to look forward to Animal Crossing, because I've said this before. Like I just have this love-hate relationship with the game. Like I'm gonna enjoy it for a few weeks until suddenly the curtain is peeled back and I realize that I'm basically just doing chores in real life in a video game, and then I'm gonna be like, I hate doing chores and I hate having to speak to these neighbors that I don't like. So and then I'll stop playing the game, and then I'll come back to it a year later, and they'll be like, "Hey, why have you not been at this village, Mr. Mayor?" And I'll be like, "I don't care about you." And I'm like, "Why are you still in this village, stinking villager?" And that's basically how it's, that's my Animal Crossing. So I'm basically good on Animal Crossing for probably about 3 weeks, and then I'll be like, no. But then again, you can terraform this one, so maybe that'll give me an extra time. But I'm looking, I think I can see myself diving into Animal Crossing first, and then maybe I'll try and blitz. I'm hoping Doom isn't too long. Hoping I can maybe blitz over the weekend, because I just want to know what the story is.
It's definitely longer than 2016. I think it's twice as long.
I think it's eternal.
How long is that?
It's eternal. Original.
It's your forever game.
Yeah. 2016, you were looking at about 8 if you were super fast hours, 12 to 16 if you were taking your time discovering secrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, if they could do the same thing, that would be great. But you said it's double. This is difficult.
They know people want more, and they've got different worlds. One of the things was they understood that people didn't like that it was the same setting for the most part. So now that we're going to like different places, like looks like the heaven world, you know, where
people had complaints about that game. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I know. Basically nitpicking. If like, well, it was a phenomenal experience, but it would have been nice to have a scenery change. It's like that type of thing. So they've got like different scenery or different areas that you're going to, more varied enemies. Like
that all sounds great.
Awesome. Yeah.
The Doom 2016 hit me so out of left field. Like I never in my wildest dreams imagined I'd be playing another Doom game that that was so reminiscent of the original Doom. Like it was so pure and so fun. You know, like it just completely took me off my feet, you know, like.
Yeah, what it did was it reminded you why you play video games.
Yeah. Right?
Like, oh, this spark of just craziness. This is fun.
It was distilled fun.
Yeah. It really is. Because it's not trying to recreate the fact that you have to like load your gun properly and oh god, you can't get in a jam in the middle of fighting this demon. No, it's like you're ripping this demon's head off and then you're shooting your shotgun. You're not, it's like it's just visceral.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm worried about with Eternal is that there's going to be too much like new stuff that gets in the way of just like the pleasure that was 2016.
Do you not like a grappling hook?
I love the grappling hook. Bionic Commando is my favorite NES game of all time. So I'm very excited about the grappling hook.
Grapple hook a cocodemon midair.
Yeah.
Boom.
What I'm worried about is there's going to be like too much of the like. I know they're adding to the systems like, you know, if you chainsaw a guy, you get health or armor or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they're adding to that kind of stuff. So is it going to be like you're constantly like thinking about how am I going to kill this guy?
Yeah, I mean, from the short demo that I played, I got to play like 3 hours. I mean, it flowed quite well. Obviously, I didn't necessarily have everything, but yeah, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was like chainsaw to get something. It was like assassinate or like do the kind of glory kill to get something else. Yeah. If you flamethrower them, you get something else. But it all works very, very quickly. And I actually quite liked it because like there's nothing more than like a buzzkill. Like when you're in the middle of like a shooting game, you're kind of, you do something super cool. And you're like, oh no, I'm out of ammo. But then suddenly you look at it and you're like, oh wait, I've got like 2 more shots in this thing. Let me quickly chainsaw this guy. Bam, I've got some ammo. You're like, oh crap, I'm low on health. Let me go and glory kill him. You're like, and it actually feels like, I mean, from what I played, it actually seemed to flow like really well. So I don't know whether if I played further and they added even more of that, if it's going to get complex. But I'm pretty sure from what I played, it was kind of the extent of those systems. So I think it felt good.
Yeah, what they changed is I think chainsaws don't require fuel anymore. Is that correct?
Oh, really? That's nice.
No, this one does still.
Does it still?
There's still, yeah. You go, no, you can.
You lied to
you
me.
can,
Fucking
I lied. Yeah.
No, I think you can still like use it to a degree, but like I think for the bigger ones, you have, because there's still fuel you can get for it. Like the bigger enemies might take like fuel to cut through them, but like the trash mobs, you can just like.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, because they made the loop happen. Like they realized that instead of in the base or the 2016 one, you use the chainsaw to get health and ammo when you were low, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Like if you're out of ammo, you chainsaw something and then you get that back. They, like you were saying, they wanted to make like a circle effect of I need ammo, do this. I need health, do this. I need armor, do this. Like that type of thing to create to keep that loop going. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's basically you can basically like you're never like stumped. You're always like, oh, you've always got an option to basically get you back in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. What's also cool too is like if you play passively, the AI gets aggressive and like says, "Nah, you're gonna die." Yeah. So the AI adapts and also tries to avoid you when you're playing aggressive. So you put the AI on its edge or on its toes if you're actually playing like the Doomslayer. It wants you to be the Doomslayer, to be like flying and shooting, killing and ripping and tearing and all that. And if you don't do that, then it's like, guess what? You're time to die.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool.
I'm looking forward to it. Like, definitely a highlight of the year for me, and a year that I think is going to be one of the best years ever.
Yeah.
You know, assuming everything we're looking forward to doesn't get delayed out of this year, like it's really going to be a banner year for video games, all in all.
Yep.
No matter what you're into, too.
After Doom Eternal, we're looking at Final Fantasy VII Episode 1 and also Resident Evil 3 release.
Oh, yes.
So got the Last of Us 2 to look forward to shortly after that.
In May. Yep.
Cyberpunk's coming soon.
E3 is going to get canceled. The World's also going to get canceled. Any hardware you want to buy?
I'm hoping not. I mean, I think that's like some other events they've been quite like a bit quicker to cancel, but I feel like E3 they're going to hold out as best because it'd be a weird one to cancel E3 anyway. Because like, I mean, obviously you know it has huge significance in the gaming sphere, but more importantly, it's like E3. Even if say like the ESA were like, oh, all right, E3 in like the convention center we're canceling. It's like, but there's so many satellite events. It's like, you know, does that mean that Microsoft will cancel their event that they own outside of E3? Would Ubisoft cancel their event? Would EA do that? Right. It's like there's so many moving parts. So like, I really hope not, because like, I've got everything booked. I kind of just want to, but you know,
if they cancel E3, I don't know that E3 can come back. Like, I feel like they're already teetering on the edge of not existing.
Yeah, I mean, will Sony not turn up for another year? A lot of the big players all run their own show.
Yeah,
like. That's, I mean, like really, because like, when you really break it down, like, you know, you look inside the show floor, you're like, okay, cool. So there's like no Ubisoft there, there's no EA there, there's no Microsoft there, there's no Sony there. So like the only main first party platform holder is obviously Nintendo, and they
Microsoft's not on the show floor either. I thought they were still.
No, they still have their. I mean, I know they might occasionally have like a satellite booth, but they have their own complete separate thing now. They just like they do it in the Microsoft Center next door, so they basically have their own. Completely owned space. So really, it's obviously the third-party publishers that kind of show up. So you have the people like, you know, Bandai Namco and like Bethesda and people like that. You know, so they obviously have like, you know, important stuff. But when you think about it in terms of like platform holder and stuff, you've got Nintendo. But then although they exist there and they have like a huge floor space and they have like a ton of stuff, they also just do their own online stream announcement anyway. So they technically speaking don't even need to be there.
Right.
So it's very, very weird. And obviously if you don't have like the big guns, then you know it's gonna be full of booths of like Fortnite and Monster.
I mean, we don't know also where exactly this whole coronavirus thing is going in terms of how that's going to affect things, and if it's going to shut down a bunch of conventions on that level.
GDC got shut down for the year.
South by Southwest got shut down.
TwitchCon Europe got cancelled as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are March events. They're not like summer events.
Yeah.
But there's talks of that. I mean, there's even the Olympics being talked about. Is that getting canceled in Tokyo? Or it's Tokyo, right? This summer?
It's Akira all over again. It's happening.
Yeah.
This is that anime. I know this is like an anime, right? That predicted this a decade ago or something like that, right? Yeah.
Akira, one of the best anime movies. But yeah, it was set in 2020, the future. There was some crazy destruction. I mean, it wasn't quite the same virus, but there was that. And then the Olympics were supposed to be there, and they were trying to cancel the Olympics. It's all happening.
Anime has become real life.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah. I'll miss E3 if it goes away, because E3 is like one of those really exciting times for gamers where there's just a shit ton of news that comes out. Like if they can transition to maybe, obviously the big publishers don't need that kind of press anymore, but maybe like the smaller studios who just seem to be popping up everywhere, right? It's like, and you can't keep track of them all because, it's just, there's so many like smaller studios who are making just awesome games.
I don't think that E3 is going away, and the concept of E3 is going away. How they handle things and the platform is definitely going to be shifting because they've had some screw ups. But that whole cycle that you're talking about, Brian, that excitement of news being released at this time, like look at all the PAXs. There's a bunch of PAXs. Like there's a bunch of PAXs because people want those experiences, those events to happen. Yeah. It's not because they're like struggling to put on like 3 or 4 different PAXs. Like it's working for them. So I think if E3 goes under, something else is going to take its spot pretty fast. Yeah. Or some revitalization.
E3 though are totally different things.
Yeah, but like a lot of news cycles come out of them though.
PAX is more like a convention for, gamers, right? It's like, yeah, there's some stuff that happens there. Like you get to see like some cool stuff. Like we saw Iceborne at PAX, and there's even some news that gets made. But E3 historically has been about like, we're releasing this. This is like the big event. Here's our huge press conference. Like,
yeah, I don't think that's going away.
Huge megaton news bombs that came out of E3. Like it was the most exciting time to look at the news for gamers.
Yeah, I think that people are still going to just announce stuff around that time.
I think as you say, like it might just be I think it will always be that significant time of the year. Like even if E3 as a thing shifts, you could even find a time where like if the coronavirus stuff does really get bad, it might just be like E3 will just happen, but everyone will just do all online stuff. So we'll basically just sit at home in our couch and watch like 3 days worth of streams back to back to back, which could still be kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
that's how a lot of people consume E3.
That used to be like before I got into like YouTube and the industry and stuff like that. Used to be like my E3 tradition. We'd all sit on like an Xbox Live party chat, and we'd all just sit and watch the streams together. It was great.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Back in the day.
What else do we got for news this week?
I think that's most of it, isn't it? Because Warzone dropped, and then there's Worms. Team 17 tweeted that there is Worms 2020. We haven't actually seen much. They basically put out like a teaser trailer today. But they, I love Worms, right? I played every single one, and it's just one of the best party games ever. And yeah, they basically put out the little teaser today where there's like a little TV being watched with some like Worms games playing out, and then suddenly it pans out, and then a worm comes over, and it says Worms 2020. So
nice.
I guess watch this space. I mean, I don't really know what they need to do. For Worms, it's not even one of those games where I'm like, oh, I hope my camera's blurry as well. I don't know whether it's one of those games where it's like, I don't look at it and say, oh, I hope they add X new features, because I just like Worms. I'm just like, just give me another one and I'll buy it again for the umpteenth time and play it again. Just add more explosive weapons again, and then give me some more hats, and then I'm good.
Yeah, it's one of the most charming games. It's been good. The first time I think I played it was on the Dreamcast or something like that. And it's been consistently good. Every time I check in with Worms, it's been hilarious and fun to play.
Yeah.
It's fun to play by yourself. It's fun to play with friends. It doesn't matter. It's just charming ass good time.
Did you ever play Worms 3D on the GameCube?
No.
Didn't play that one. No.
So a lot of the time when you kind of take these games and like, obviously it's known for like the 2D stuff, which is, where Worms is best. And like, you go to the 3D space and people are like, it doesn't really work. But that one honestly did, they did a couple of 3D versions. They did like Worms Forza one time, which wasn't that great, but Worms 3D.
Worms Forza? Like a racing game?
No, Worms Forts. It was actually like, it was basically like a 3D. It was followed Worms 3D, but this one where you actually built the forts like as you were going along, like they were sort of like walls and stuff, it was an interesting concept, but that one didn't work as well. But just the standalone Worms 3D was so much fun because it was like, you still had all the same chaos, but obviously in a 3D space. And when you think you're doing things like jetpacks and super sheep and flying them around in like 3D space, it was really cool. Like I genuinely love that one.
This was, you said, for the N64?
No, for GameCube.
GameCube.
Yeah.
I think
it was called Worms 3D. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It does look hilarious. I'm watching a video of it right now. It's adorable.
It was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's all the same charm, all the same crazy weapons, but literally just like everywhere you want to go. And it was Worms. It's great. I can't wait.
I haven't kept many of my games from like back in the day, but I still have my copy of Worms for the Dreamcast. I never got rid of that one. I've always liked the pixel art though of them. It's just
definitely
they're fun games. Is that going to be on the Switch? You think?
They haven't actually announced platforms yet. They literally put the teaser out, but I would imagine it would be because like I think the last one they put out, like whatever the last update one was, I think it was on pretty much all platforms, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nice. And unless Worms has never been a hugely graphically demanding game, so I don't imagine it would be too difficult. So
yeah.
I think that was the only other news that I saw. It was Warzone, and it's
What a ridiculous thing, Worms.
Right?
You know what? As I miss, they haven't had for years. Lemmings.
I know.
Yeah, it's been a while, huh?
Lemmings needs the same type of treatment though, of going back to its roots and not trying to get all like crazy high def, or like stick to the feeling of Lemmings if they redo Lemmings.
Yeah. Another one. Did you ever play Lemmings Paintball?
Paintball?
No.
That was also good. That was also done in a 3D space, but your lemmings actually shoot paintballs at each other like in a paintball match. It was great.
That sounds fun.
Like a first-person shooter?
No, it's sort of like a kind of like top-down kind of tactical shooter sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Like XCOM?
Sort of, yeah.
XCOM for Lemmings?
To a degree.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Build this
Did
ladder.
you guys ever play, what was that, Mario and Rabbids XCOM game?
I almost bought it, actually.
Yeah.
I never played it, though.
It was actually really good.
Yeah?
It was really good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's an exciting year, man. It's going to be an expensive year.
It's
can't wait for my
NT
Mini to show up.
Brian, you also had a little bit of time with the Mister, but you're not quite ready to talk about it yet?
Yeah, I mean, so far I really love it. If you didn't hear the episode, the Mister is a emulation device. It's hardware emulation as opposed to software emulation, and what that gives you is basically no lag between your inputs and seeing it on screen, which is one of the biggest problems with emulation. If you're trying to do a double jump or a wall jump in Ninja Gaiden, it can be very difficult to get the timing right when
frame accurate.
When there's like five frames of lag between your input and what you see on the screen, or like something like Punch Out can be very, very difficult when there's a lot of lag. So what the Mister does is it gives you, it emulates the hardware. It's like, as far as the game's concerned, as far as you're concerned, it feels like you're playing on original hardware, because the chip actually can be programmed to act like the chips in an NES or a Neo Geo. Cool. It is really cool. One of the ones that I like the best, what you do is you download the cores, and people are developing cores for this all the time. So for instance, you download the Neo Geo core. That's all the programming language to program the chip to act like, the chips inside a Neo Geo console or arcade machine. And then, because you're lucky and your uncle left you every Neo Geo game that ever existed, you load those up. You load those legally obtained copies up. And, for me, Neo Geo is a system I never got to play.
Yeah.
Right. I always saw pictures of it and it looks so impressive. But playing through the Metal Slug series has been a real joy to me. It's like,
oh, Metal Slug is amazing.
They were so graphically impressive. They play so well. They're so fun, but it just was not available to me as a game player, you know, like there's no way to do that. Like the games were so expensive, still are. Metal Slug, if you want to get a cartridge of Metal Slug, $1,000 minimum right now.
What?
Damn.
Yeah.
That's some retro gaming.
It makes the Mister feel like a bargain.
What did the Mister cost you?
Bargain.
So all said and done, and I went all out. I bought like every conceivable like option for this thing. I bought a 512 gigabyte what is it called, mini SD card. I bought, a $40 case that makes it look like a Super Nintendo, or it's the same colors as a Super Nintendo. I bought the extra USB board. I bought a Noctua fan for it as opposed to the regular fan. I went all out, but it ended up being about $640.
But it can emulate. It can emulate on a hardware level all those consoles.
Yeah, in arcade machines, and there's more coming out. I was telling Eric's before the show that they're working on CPS 1 and CPS 2, which were the arcade boards that Street Fighter 2 and Super Street Fighter were made on.
Wow.
So, those are theoretically coming, and you'll have a no lag version of Street Fighter to play at home, the arcade version, which
that's really cool.
You can get like RetroArch or something like that and download, an emulator to play on your computer. But I have a fast fucking computer and I can feel the lag when I play the games,
Yeah. It's because it's software. It's like software on top of software on a hardware.
Right.
And what that Mister does is it's on a hardware level.
Yeah. And it's like kind of, I'm showing the box here. And I know it's like, looks 8-bit.
Oh, that looks great.
But it's small, so you can kind of just tuck it into like wherever. And it's got plenty of USB ports. You can use something like, my favorite gamepad for it is the 8-bit Do Super Nintendo pad.
Okay.
Which I can either plug in with USB or it also does a USB wireless.
Nice.
Like over Bluetooth, which of course adds lag. Bluetooth adds lag. Yeah. Anytime you're doing wireless instead of over a wire, you're giving yourself more lag. But it makes the games feel like you're playing them in real life, like on the original hardware. I have an old arcade stick, old fighting stick that I had for the PS3 when I used to play Street Fighter 4. I hooked that thing up to it, and now Neo Geo games have like, a real joystick with the 4 buttons that the Neo Geo home console had.
It's really cool.
It's super cool. It's expensive, and there's cheaper options out there, but none quite as unique as the Mister.
It seems like that's the best option, though, if you want it to feel as close to the hardware as possible without actually owning the hardware.
Yeah, well, it depends, because one of the things you can't do on this is you can't put a cartridge into it. If your primary focus is on the Super Nintendo and you want to collect Super Nintendo cartridges because like that's part of the experience for you, this isn't going to handle that. Something like the analog Super NT would be better, where it's the same technology. It's an FPGA where it's, emulating the hardware of the Super Nintendo, but it has a cartridge slot and you can still load, all the ROMs on it as well.
Interesting.
And that's only $189, right?
But you get all the consoles for the Mister.
Yeah.
You can't load up the cartridges. You have to load up ROMs.
Right. You got to load up the ROMs.
But still, the fact that it emulates on a hardware level is very appealing.
Yeah. It's a cool device. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like, I've only had it for a few days. So like, I'm still kind of learning about it.
Follow-up coming, right?
There's definitely follow-up coming. Like getting it up and running, and like the software that you use to do it is, you have to do some research and you have to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Getting a joystick to work correctly in games. Every time you plug in a new joystick in, you got to use a keyboard. You have to have a keyboard plugged into it and remap the joystick.
It doesn't save it?
it saves it if you've plugged it in before.
Oh, okay.
But like if you want to plug a new one in, and then you got to do it for, you know, because the buttons on a Genesis game are different than the buttons on a Super Nintendo game.
Right.
So you gotta or the NES or Neo Geo. So it's cool. It's nerdy as shit. Like you know, it's not like, you know, it's not like you're not gonna get it and then hook it up and just start playing.
Right.
You know, you got some work to do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you're doing ROMs, though, like you have some work to do to connect those things and make them work and make the experience somewhat nice.
I guess. I mean, if you're doing PC emulation at this point, it's basically plug and play. You know, you download ROMs, open emulator, play game. You know, it's like it's that easy.
But I don't want any lag, man. I want it to feel like hardware.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing on a PC emulator. I was playing Mario Golf the other day for the Nintendo 64, and even on that game, where you know you have to time the button press for like the top of the swing and the bottom of the swing. Even on that, I could feel the lag. You know, it's just there's like a delay to everything. Yeah, that it just drives you crazy.
Interesting.
You know, you get used to it over time, and you can play the game for sure. And it's amazing to play like N64 games at 1080p, as opposed to like the blocky garbage that I look like in the live stream right now.
16-bit Briar.
The authentic experience.
And you know, the Mister has its limits. You know, it pretty much seems like it's maxed out at like the 16-bit era. Like it doesn't look like it's going to go past that. Yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe they come out with like a Sega Saturn or a PlayStation 1. Probably PlayStation 1 is more likely than Sega Saturn. Maybe, I don't know. But I wouldn't hold my breath.
Okay.
You know,
they'll release a Mrs.
Yeah, the Mrs. Exactly. Yeah, maybe the next generation of like the FPGA hardware needs to be released to kind of continue along that path. But if you're into any of the 8-bit games, the 16-bit games, and the cores, like it does like all the Atari consoles, it does consoles you've never heard of, all the European microcomputers, Eric's, that, you know, I don't really have any familiar with, like, but the Amiga stuff, was it the BBC Micro, like all that stuff is on there. And then a ton of arcade stuff. And the arcade stuff is like, you know, Popeye, Galaxian, you know, like really those old games, but they're really well emulated.
Nice.
Yeah, it's an interesting device. It's fucking expensive though. I kind of didn't know what I was getting into when I started like doing it. I thought, all right, this is going to cost me about $300.
Is that the base price?
Well, so you can get the board with the chip on it, the FPGA chip, and you can play like probably like most of the stuff.
Okay.
If you get the memory, then you can play more of the stuff.
Well, what's that cost then? Like just the board?
I think the board is about $150.
Well, that's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the memory I think is like another $60, and that'll get you most of the way there.
That's not bad at all. You just have to be.
If you want the USB connectivity, then you know you're talking another $110.
$110 for USB? What?
Yeah.
Wow.
What kind of expansion pack is that?
You know, for me, I really wanted the extra I/O board, which has analog output. So for me, if I want to stream this, I need analog out for audio. You know, or I could use like an HDMI
extractor,
HDMI stripper, which is a pain in the ass.
That's what I use.
Like if I can afford an HDMI stripper, I want to avoid an HDMI stripper.
It's not bad. Mine's never had a problem.
Yeah.
So think about it this way though.
Yeah.
The combined cost of the Mister is probably more expensive than the PS5 is going to be.
It sounds like, it sounds like your Mister is more expensive than the PS5.
Yeah.
To play some retro games.
Yeah.
Money well spent?
Definitely.
I'll let you know.
Next week we'll find out.
Yeah. It's still new. I'm having a ton of fun with it. It's awesome to play like Sega CD games. Like if you were to go and try and like find these Sega CD games, first of all, you'd have to buy a Sega CD, buy a Sega Genesis, figure out a way to hook this up to a modern computer or a modern, TV, which is not not easy because these were analog out connections.
Yeah, you have to have an analog to digital converter.
Right. So like something like that's going to be about $100.
Mm-hmm.
You know, plus cables. And then you got to buy the games, right? And the games for a Sega CD are super expensive. Or you can just emulate it on your computer with ROMs, but you know, you're not getting a great experience. Yeah. Do you remember when the Wii store had you know, all those old games, like the virtual console? I remember playing like Castlevania 4 on that and being like, this is terrible because there's so much lag. Like it was so hard to play those classic games because
I remember those games didn't feel like good.
It was all dark and muddy looking, and like it was really hard to play them because those games weren't built with the lag in mind that current games are built with.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, new games know that you're playing with a Bluetooth controller on a TV screen that, you know, is converting video, so there's a little bit of latency there.
Yeah. Well, we will have to continue the Mr. conversation next week, Briar. Get more updates on that. See where you're at after having it for a week, you know? I think that's the show, right? That's the episode.
It is. That is SideQuest.
SideQuest complete. There it is. There it is, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Oh, also, if you are not in a time zone change or daylight savings zone area, daylight savings just enacted yesterday in the United States. So if you're watching live, time zones change, man. Also, that happened for you, Eric's, right?
We haven't had it yet, so I believe we're temporarily for the next few weeks, I guess, on like slightly earlier, and then we'll probably sync up in a few weeks.
There it is.
Pointless thing, the daylight savings. They just need to scrap it.
They just need to get rid of it. Just yank it. Be like, done. Don't need this anymore.
Get it out of here.
Like a Band-Aid. Boom. Out of here. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. If you want to find more of me, talk to me at Teft, and catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft.
Yeah, and you can find me over on Twitter, Arix, or over on YouTube, Scuf Gaming, and keep your eyes peeled for Friday. It's gonna be some cool spicy stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me at the Briar Rabbit. But what you should do is tomorrow we'll be uploading Firing. I forgot the name of it.
Firing Range.
Firing Range. Thank you. The new podcast on the DCP channel. It is a really nitty gritty, hardcore look into kind of like the, I don't know, how would you describe it? Kind of like the sandbox of Destiny. And, you know, the guys in there are just some of the smartest guys in the Destiny community. Brand new podcast. The first episode they recorded live last night. It was really good. Highly recommend it. Yeah. And check that out. It should be up on YouTube tomorrow.
Ooh, exciting.
There you go.
Or in your podcast feed.
Awesome. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for another show. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.